liberation just have vastly different understandings of what liberation is for.
I haven't seen this much importance and attention.
The story itself is a really wonderful, really great setup.
Tractor beam has been engaged.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews, your one-stop shop for in-depth commentary and discussion on this week's Star Wars comics. It is Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. It's the 23rd week in comics. I'm Matthew, and reporting in from the Nintendo Switch line at whatever mall or wherever you are, it's our senior video game correspondent, I guess. Chris Abbott, how you doing?
Oh, we're bringing it back to the good old days of me being the senior tie-in correspondent on Star Wars Underworld.
That's what.
But yes, I am here for the Switch 2 launch, and This is Central Jersey at the Best Buy here. I'm going to be waiting for the next 3 hours, so I figured, hey, it's a good way to kill time talking about some Star Wars comics and being live from location here, back like it was in the old days, right? We have digital games. You don't have any reason to go to midnight launches.
Sure.
But, now we actually have to physically pick up a system, so that's why we're here.
I have this video game madness. It's still video game madness going on. I'm kind of like how we did it New York Comic Con the last 2 years, just standing out there on whatever 34th Street, 11th Avenue, with the guy standing right there.
Oh, the horror story of the guy. Yeah.
There we go. This will be fun. Diving right in. We're gonna do a full show tonight. We got three stories rather. Two came out today. One came out a few weeks ago. But let's do the plugs out of the way first. You can follow us mostly on Blue Sky. I should change that there. Blue Sky on Canon, EYEONCANON on Blue Sky. You can follow everything with Chris on Twitter at StarRaptor, StarRapter, and YouTube.com/StarRaptor. Check that out. I'm pretty sure something tells me you're going to be talking about Nintendo Switch a lot on those socials, on those channels. So there we go.
Yeah, I might post a couple of behind-the-scenes pictures and whatnot.
There we go. Yeah, we got one comment from Jesse. How's it going, Jesse? Taking a break from birthday celebrations. Happy birthday, Jesse. Happy birthday. And how you doing with the Best Buy wait? How are you doing with the Best Buy wait, Chris?
Well, allegedly they have 100-something Mario Kart bundles, and they have maybe some other amount of the non-Mario Kart bundles, and that's for the people that didn't pre-order. They also have a separate line for the people that pre-ordered. I was not lucky enough or fast enough to get the pre-orders because scalpers and everything on the internet these days, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way, which is why I'm here right now. But yeah, there we go. The GameStop is also a place I tried but failed at that, so that's why I'm here.
You do game madness. That's what we're calling it. Video game madness. I mean, whenever we're talking about video games. There we go. So speaking of which, we're proudly part of the Star Wars Underworld podcast network. As you can see, if you chat with us, we'll get to it as soon as we can. If you super chat here on the Underworld Network, we'll get to it immediately. And we also have YouTube memberships here on the channel. Also check out the Discord server in the Minty Fresh description down below. We're doing a lot of Fortnite this week and a bunch of other things. And still like the last week of Star Wars Fortnite, I believe. Yeah, lots of video game talk tonight. I'm not a gamer. What do you know? I do comic books. I do Pew Pew Space Conflict. There we go. Yeah, check that out. We're also conversations about Star Wars and different things. So check out the description, Minty Fresh, the link in the description below. All right, we might as well get going. We're going to go in chronological order, very strict chronological order. All three stories set before the Phantom Menace. Two of them are High Republic. We're going to dive in. Finally got Insider 231 Tales from the Occlusion Zone out with a bang. This one's written by Lydia Kang with art by Jake Lentavius. I'm going to bring this up just because I have it. Oh, wrong thing. What? There we go. That was that. Look at. I gotta say, first off, that artwork's sick. The artwork in this and leafing through this whole issue, 231. The artwork, the graphic design on Insider is on point. I gotta say, also, this brings it up. That's Visma Tarko, and in this story, really was a really wild action. Out with a bang, right? Just really, Lydia King did such a great job running this engaging action on just prose text, which is hard to do, right? But she really had a good military action sequences with this Matarko and Alpha Sue trying to take down these ginormous scav droids that are on the ground on Eriadu. And yeah, we're still going back into the Battle of Eriadu before the High Republic Adventures run. And yeah, Visma and Elping, really neat to see them, the two of them bond. I know when we first met them, Visma was who is this engineer guy? Why do we care about this guy? He doesn't know what he's doing. And now there's not just respect, but genuine affection. I'm kind of shipping him. I don't ship much, but I'm shipping him a bit. But they could just be, there. And then Ebbe Casset flying in.
Yeah, really.
Just like her mom, but taking the Nihil.
Wait, that was her aunt, wasn't it?
It was her aunt or her mom? I guess her aunt, maybe. However, she's related to Ebbe Casset. Her namesake, her family member, yeah, taking the fight to the Nihil, going, honing in on a signal, exploring the origin of the scav droids, figuring it out. Really smart of her to figure out where the scav droids are coming from. The only place where Nihil ordnance isn't coming down in Eriadu City there. So yeah, that two really great character moments, character beats away from the Adrons. So we know, of course, that the next final story has got to be about the Adrons. Of course, Charles Soule's story with them begins with them. It's going to end with them, and probably the baby. Just the thought, but yeah, I really again enjoyed this great character moments, and that we've actually grown to like these characters and grown to get to know these characters in these short stories over the time, over these months. Again, especially Visma, Elping, and Ebbe. Really great characterization there. So those are my thoughts on Insider 231. Do you have any thoughts yourself?
I unfortunately don't have as concrete of thoughts as you do, man, because I read that comic. Yesterday. Well, I read the Insider immediately when I got home from Japan, which is about a month and a half ago. Sadly, already it's moved that much time since I got back. But I just remember the scav droids and as we've seen on that really beautiful cover there, how they were just theirs are deadly constructs, and I really like the theme. We're going to talk more about them tonight, but like how they're really this last act of the Nihil is just to have these crazy things. Machines, just last ditch effort to just cause as much destruction, whether it be a Valiant Valley, whether it be Fear of the Jedi miniseries. Heck, maybe we'll see him in the actual novel Trials of the Jedi. There's going to be it shows like this thread is great. And Eriadu, again, this is another part of Eriadu, right? The Eriadu is such a big important part as it was, with like the Valo Fair, or if it was with the Battle of Jeddah, or the Night of Sorrows, like all those like classic stories. I think they're already like iconic moments of the High Republic are already, here we go. We got another side of it. I'm just a little bit like, I really wanted to get more of Josh and Pika in this story. I feel like they've really been sidelined. And I thought they were more like the front lining characters. And it's like, that baby's got to be born at some point. So what's going on here?
Sure. Yeah, it's true. I mean, again, we'll get them in the last one, but yeah, Joss especially has been flying around. He's been out of the picture, letting the other character. Yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they haven't been sidelined too much. Hopefully it doesn't feel like they've been sidelined, but I get that why it does feel like that right now.
Yeah.
All right, I think we can move on. You're still doing the correspondence there. Speaking of just moving on to concurrent with this, effectively, maybe a little later, maybe a day later, who knows. This is Fear of the Jedi number 5, written by Kevin Scott, art by Marika Cresta, colors by Jim Campbell, letters by VC's Ariana Marr, and cover by Phil Noto. I'll bring the cover up just because I have it here. Beautiful look of my girl Keeve there on the cover, and her long beam, the Geos. There we go. A call to arms. The Geos under attack. Republic forces outnumbered and outgunned, with the battle for Eriadu and the fate of the Republic hanging in the balance. Jedi Marshal Keeve Trennis addresses the galaxy. The end of the war is coming, but who will pay the ultimate price? I'll turn to you. What did you thoughts? All your thoughts on Fear of the Jedi number 5 of 5?
Dude, I had a bit of a one-person therapy session after this issue ended.
Really?
And I gotta preface this because I read the issue.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was basically there with me when I broke all this down because I was so disappointed. I gotta tell you, man.
Really?
I was so disappointed by this issue and by this entire series. I don't know what happened, but like I feel like Ken Scott really dropped the ball. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here, but like honestly, I was let down because like Keeve Trennis, you know, she gives a cool speech and all, and I think that was great. But the idea of we've seen a trope time and time again in Star Wars where it's, oh, when the heroes are down and out, a fleet comes literally out of nowhere and completely saves it. And I think it was horrible to have that in there because it really takes away from the characters that we were focusing on this entire time. And that gets me to say, like, what was the purpose of this miniseries? Like Keeve Trennis should have been that savior of the entire thing. And instead, we get just a bunch of no-name Togruta, a bunch of no-name Republic people. They're just like, oh yeah, by the way, Scrub the HUD is just showing up. Like it was just like this absolute. And then at the end of it, they're like, oh, by the way, come back next month for the next issue. I'm like, so what was the resolution here, guys? Like it really felt like they rushed it. And I said this in my video that I put out today. Like it felt like this was only half the story. Like this should have been a 10-issue miniseries because honestly, like I was telling you this before the issue came out, like a couple hours before this. I read the issue. I said, I don't know how they're going to pull it together. Like it feels like we're halfway through, and unfortunately, I've read enough of these comics over the years to kind of know the feeling of, oh, is this not going to end that well? And unfortunately, it didn't. In my eyes, I want to hear what you have to say about it, but that was my kind of very direct but also honest thoughts on that issue.
Interesting.
Too crazy about it, but I guess maybe I was expecting more. I guess you could say.
You know, it sounds to me. I mean, so first of all, I'll say I enjoyed this issue. It sounds to me like we're kind of expecting, you know, on Charles Soule's ongoing number 50, which is really which is an epilogue. It's ongoing number 49 is the finale, but we didn't know that yet. So that happened, but I do get that it kind of ends it really quickly, ends the story really quickly. But I wonder if Kevin was saying, Charles, speaking of Charles Soule, you take this and run with it, fill it out, flesh it out, what all the other things happening around the galaxy are. That montage that she sees during her speech, right? That people are rising up across the galaxy, which I agree. I mean, that happened. That's Rise of Skywalker. We're going to see that next week in Rise of Skywalker, number 5. It's High Republic Adventures. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing though. My focus in watching this was really cinematic again. Great action.
Oh, the artwork was awesome. Yeah, Marek Professor and the team did a great job. It's just and they were like, oh, by the way, the Nihil surrendered. It's like, oh, it would have been nice to know exactly how that happened. This is what I mean. It felt like it was like going like 3 times the speed this issue than what it should have actually been at because they just didn't have time. It just seemed like Kevin Scott had this project and it was all like, hey, you got to get this out in 5 issues because that's when Trials of the Jedi is going to finish everything. So it just like really squeezed everything in, and like the whole thing with Kel Naka, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, that guy came back. And it's like, okay,
I think my thinking there is she's referring to whatever ends up happening in Trials of the Jedi, because I agree that bit I was confused by that. What, the whole thing's over? Like she's hugging. I forget who she's hugging there, but I guess not. It's not Tarp. Wrong.
Was it Sababa?
Maybe. Or
the guy that was the teacher of Ty York.
I think it was the RDC captain.
Oh, Real Darrow? No, about Jahan. Yeah,
one of those. Yeah, and
I mean, it was a touching moment, but I just feel like it wasn't even earned at all. Like, what happened here? You know?
Yeah, I think I suspect she's referring to what we'll see in Trials of the Jedi. I suspect.
And that's yeah.
Which is too bad because I mean, it came out. Maybe it should have come out after that. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see issue number. We'll see that the finale comic.
And that
yeah. I mean, I was worried. I was kind of worried reading this speech. I was like, is she gonna just say I'm leaving the order now? What? No. And I was glad she didn't, which is great. Here's the thing. I still really enjoyed this comic because it primarily tracks both Keeve and Sababa, as communing with Hatar and saying, I know where you are, and she comes out and says, please just let me go in peace, let me die, to end this fear engine, to end this Nihil attack. It's against my will. I'm being tortured here. Please let me go. And he's all, no, I want to go save you. And that really ramped up the dramatic stakes, the dramatic tension. And it's, of course, the fleet that flies in that ends up destroying her ship. And so that the spider squall. And so, that really it really got the character beat right, I think, in that you get the connection. I felt it at least. And then, the title of this podcast, The Belly of the Beast. Keeve kicking butt, taking names, going into the ginormous scav droid. Speaking of ginormous
that
scav
was
droids,
cool.
that's stuck on the Geos. And she goes in and she starts to disable it, the drag race there. I just muted it. It's okay. Some drag racing there in the plaza in New Jersey. There you go.
Yeah, you got to the mute button before I did. It was literally just like this old ass pickup truck with an American flag on the back waving.
Yeah. So anyway, thinking about the way the point of the thrust of this issue has been, there's been two. There's been Sababa and Hatar and the whole fear engine, and Sababa, I mean, coming out of that short story, I guess from Adventures, and we'll end with Tyork and that whole encounter, confrontation, coming to himself, learning to be a hero, learning to care for others and serve the common good and all that. Rejoin the Jedi, and it comes to this horrifying, terrible, really sad character moment where I guess it's Lorna who flies in and takes out the. That
was a good part. I like that part where it's like, wait, no, and then just see the explosion, like, oh, crap. And then she gets that moment where she's like, "Oh, I'm at peace" or whatever, floating in the destruction of it all. That was cool.
So that part was great, and then we do see again Keeve's arc here of taking on greater leadership and responsibility.
Yeah,
it was a bit surprising. Again, that's why I was worried: is she going to pull the switch here with this speech? But no, she doesn't. But it's surprising in how much she seems to have bought in for the moment. I wonder, again, keep thinking every single time, everything with Keeve, especially now, she's on the doorstep, she's on the way out. Is it something about, like I was mentioning last week with the Nihil pilot? Now, is it something about Hatar and how, if that's, I mean, it was Lorna, oddly enough, which was surprising, but they say, oh yeah, it's great that we killed this person. Is Keeve going to be like, no, it's not great that we killed this person? Like the Jedi Council going to say this? Oh yeah, great that we killed this person. How did we take care of things? Keeve's going to be, no, it's not great. This is not what I signed up for. So being confronted with Sababa's grief too, and yeah, looking at the way this issue really sets that up. I mean, I got things to speculate on, right? So yeah, I enjoyed it. Again, knowing that's the nice thing about High Republic. Maybe it's kind of the drawback with High Republic is that everything connects. It's the nice thing that High Republic, that everything connects. Mm-hmm. And so, if this issue and this arc, this run didn't have maybe the most satisfying ending, we're hopefully, again, like I was saying with Insider 232 coming out soon, in a few weeks, if we're going to have, but this one is also going to feel more complete when we read Trials of the Jedi. And that's the thing with High Republic, is you just have to be reading all these things in order to really grasp the story. I do think, I here's the thing about that ending. It's like, okay, it's there for folks who aren't going to read Trials of the Jedi. It's there for folks to say, okay, and this thing is done. It's wrapped up. It's all finished. And then if you want to know how this happens, go buy this book, because it's going to be really good. And we need the money. But more importantly, go buy this book and see how it finishes. But yeah, I didn't mind it as much as you did. I see what you mean. But yeah, I didn't mind it as much as you did.
Yeah, I was so mad. I was like,
That's
just
funny.
telling you everything I just said to my girlfriend. Like, this is my therapy session. I knew this was not going to end well, and it's just darn it. I'd seen this before, and it happened.
Yeah.
And then it's just this is the good and bad of having such a tightly tied together initiative. Because are we just not going to get the actual ending to Keeve's journey in the first thing she appeared in? Like, I'm actually worried. I know we're going to get that one other issue. I guess there's still a chance there, but she's on the cover there, so you would imagine. But darn it, I was really hoping that the High Republic would deal with her. Already had left order for like a year or something, so we could see her journey as not part of the Jedi. So my only hope is like, hey, maybe Fett Scott will continue on. He keeps making that cryptic statement about, it might not be over, basically, is what I'm paraphrasing what he said at a couple of conventions. So hopefully he gets another ongoing comic to just continue her not part of the Jedi. That'd be awesome.
I mean, yeah, that would be cool. Although, I mean, we don't know it's building towards that moment where she leaves. And the reason I think it's got to be probably in the finale is, again, Keeve leaving the Order is what prompted Kevin to ask the whole "What did the Jedi fear?" question in the first place. And so I do think he has this planned out, plotted out. It's just everything Charles has to do with, probably assuming Nameless and Planet X and all that. But yeah, it needs to, that all needs to happen, and then Keeve can take her step, reflecting on what happens in Trials of the Jedi. Maybe it's just in the finale she's not necessarily the only character, so that's what I'm wondering with you, is where and when. Is it in this finale issue? Is it in something else? And then I do agree it would be cool to have an ongoing, just Keeve Trennis, not High Republic, just what's she doing.
It just seems so extreme, like how she would leave at this point, because they just won. Like, she's the marshal. Like, he's gonna have to do a lot of heavy lifting in a matter of a couple pages to go from her being one of the leaders of the Republic to her just suddenly leaving the Jedi Order. Like, that's a big. I know there's been a couple bumps along the road, but I don't know if they've been large enough to really break the camel's back on this one to get her to actually completely leave.
Yeah, I mean, there's the bits in the audio drama. Questioning, is this the order that she signed up for? Is she right for what she sees the order being? That's that question. The fact that she is, she kind of defies orders to go and save Skier, and then I do think the Nihil pilot, and then Sababa. But it is only a little bit. There's a bit of groundwork. I agree. There's probably going to be more that needs to be done in either. I mean, maybe Kevin, maybe just the way everything worked out. Kevin said, Charles, here's the story. Here's the idea. Fit it in your novel somewhere. I don't know. I don't see Charles being like, no, this is. I could see him being like, no, this is your story. Do it.
Yeah.
We'll see. Exactly. We'll find out in a few weeks.
A
lot of great questions. But all that to say, there's how many High Republic Adventures comics left?
2.
There's 2 High Republic Adventures comics. There's the 232 Insider 232. There's Trials of the Jedi. I'm still listening to Haunted Starlight, and I need to read Valiant Vow. But how many? So how many pieces of, and then the finale comic. You can count the number of unreleased High Republic material on one hand.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how far we've come.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Bonkers.
all these years. What, been 4 years?
Yeah.
Of regular stories coming out basically every month.
Yeah.
Sometimes multiple things every month.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Track
So.
racing. There we go. It's pod racing. It's working. It's working. There we go. All right. Get to move on to the last comic here.
Yes, I am.
Let's move on to Jedi Knights number 4. I'm jumping about 190-ish years in the future. This is Jedi Knights number 4.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's written by Mark Guggenheim, art by Madavek Muzabekov, colors by Luis Guerrero, letters by VC's Clayton Coles, and cover by Raza. I'll pop it up. Why not? There we go. There's your guy. There's my guy. There's Archer Gruda.
I believe, real quick, I believe Raza, the cover artist, I think he's a Philadelphia native.
Oh, nice.
Or local. I believe that's what the guys at the splash page said. And by the way, happy 10th anniversary to those guys, because they do the Lord's work where the forces work with, providing us with all the up-to-date dates and good commentary. I listen to them every week. So you'll see them pop in here from time to time. Matt does. So it's true.
Yeah, so congrats to them. Originally Coffee with Kenobi and Comics with Kenobi and all that. And Star Wars splash page going strong. Keep it up. Definitely appreciate all your guys' support. All right, Jedi Knights number 4. Yeah, so there's the cover there. The galactic chase to end all chases. Phaedra from Han Solo and Chewbacca has stolen thousands of credits from Jabba the Hutt, and now Aura Singh, Zem Wessel, Bane Malar, and the entire galaxy is after her, including Jedi Knights, Qui-Gon Jinn, Shaak Ti, and guest starring your friend of mine, Mr. Jango Fett. There we go. Yeah. I enjoyed this one. This was a fun, kind of get Underworld, Jedi Knights, but Underworld. It was weird. Yeah, it was definitely, did he get Ethan Sachs on this, or it was very much in that bounty hunter's vein of, a criminal. Well, this sort of not quite innocent. Phaedra's, unbeknownst to her, she steals from a senator who, unbeknownst to her, is being bankrolled by Jabba the Hutt. And so I love everything about Coruscant. I loved seeing, it was fascinating, and I loved seeing the Coruscant, Global Bank or whatever it's called, managed and administered by the banking clan. And there you have Qui-Gon and Shaak Ti meeting with probably whatever the guy, the Sand Hill, whoever it is, or whoever
Immune.
Or Immune from Unilist or wherever, or Magneto or wherever. But on Coruscant, because investigating this whole thing with the senator who is bankrolling Jabba the Hutt. And this was the one thing, a few things I want to clue in on here, but they explicitly say, I don't know if Joel you're watching here, but they explicitly say, Qui-Gon explicitly says the Jedi, or maybe it's Shaak Ti, the Jedi are not a constabulary, that they're not cops, which is interesting because George Lucas was all Joel says a lot. George Lucas was all, they're cops, definitely cops, but here they are saying we're not cops. We can't go around investigating and apprehending folks who rob banks, no matter how important this bank is. But here they are thrusted this role and on this chase, and Phaedra, she's able to outsmart even them to some extent. Definitely outsmarting all the other bounty hunters, Aura Singh, Zem Wessel, and Bane, and Jango. Well, not outsmarting Jango, but pretty smart, pretty formidable. And as of course we see, I was reading, refreshing my memory about Phaedra and Han Solo and Chewbacca, and she's part of Han and Chewie's crew, helps them escape from this jail and all that. So again, Mark Guggenheim's Han Solo and Chewbacca. So yeah, it was a fun callback, fun to bring her back in, and to see Qui-Gon and Shaak Ti going again these Underworld stories before Attack of the Clones. I mean, I'm wearing this because it felt more Attack of the Clones in that kind of whodunit investigation that Obi-Wan goes on. Here, Qui-Gon and Shaak Ti are there. They're going to Nar Shaddaa. They're going to Ord Mantell, right? They're going to all these places. Here we go. You see the ICB. But yeah, it was really fascinating. Again, the reluctant, at least Qui-Gon will be a reluctant cop. I don't know about Shaak T. Someone like Mace Windu wouldn't so much. And then there's a little hint of that mysterious Force users person who's supposedly going to kill Qui-Gon. That little through line. There's one little moment.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, that's what that is. So I thought that was effective. I thought it was fun. Phaedra with a lot of the bait and switches. There we go.
The American flag guy is back.
Oh no.
He's asking, what's going on?
Yeah. What a country you got there. Hope I can come in July. There we go. What was I saying here? So
I love shooting this kind of content in the middle of the public. It's always fun.
Guerrilla podcasting.
Yeah,
I'm doing it from the comfort of my home here. You're doing it online to get a Nintendo Switch. Hey, if you're watching, give this guy a Switch anyway. There we go. The
line got way longer, by the way.
Nice. There we go. So Phaedra almost outsmarting the Jedi. They catch on, but then Jango Fett being in on it from the beginning. That was fun. That was exciting. I'm the Space Wizard. This is the ultimate tractor beam issue again, because I'm the Space Wizard guy. You're the Underworld guy. Coming together. There we go. What'd you think of seeing your guy Jango Fett and the whole Bounty Hunter Underworld thing in Jedi Knights in this era?
Dude, this was a complete polar opposite reaction I had to the High Republic, The Fear of the Jedi issue #5. I was like, this is what comics are about. This is actually what I love to read. Yeah, and it was a good story. Like, it actually had me kind of going around, like, with Phaedra kind of knew this all about. She was doing it for a gambling debt, but then she was kind of fooling people along the way. Like, even Qui-Gon got used and Shaak T got used in her escape. Like, I love the through line. I love the characters. I mean, starting off with Jango Fett and then going into with Zam Wessel, Aura Singh, even get Bane Malgan or something. I don't have my notes on me right now.
Bane Millar.
Bane Millar, who is he is a character from Return of the Jedi in a deleted scene. He does not appear in anything. I believe they made an action figure of him. He actually appeared in, if you remember that, like, Maxi spin-off or Maxi one-shot series of, like, Return of the Jedi tie-ins. He was in the Jabba the Hutt one.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
So I was just getting a kick out of it. Not only the characters, but, like, seeing the space combat with the different ships. I don't even think we've ever canonically seen Zam Wessel had a ship or our Sing. And so seeing all that content, seeing Slave One, seeing Narshad. Oh, I mean, like, yeah, I love that planet. That planet is the best because that's where all the ne'er-do-wells go, and it makes sense that she would go there to fence the money because that's where all the ne'er-do-well people are that would take the money. But it's also dangerous because that's where you have all the bounty hunters. So, like, oh, that's so good. And then they end up on Ord Mantell, where it's like, hey, that goes back to The Empire Strikes Back. We're always wondering, like, hey, that bounty hunter we ran into on Ord Mantell, like, what's his deal on Solo Leia? Like, it really, like, Mark Guggenheim hit all of the right notes when it came to the characters, the ships, the feeling of reading the comic. It felt like grungy, like the artistry that was done by Medebek Mizbekov and the artists on the team here. Really made it feel like this is the Star Wars Underworld. Then you get Qui-Gon, you get Shaak T kind of doing the kind of like the Obi-Wan like investigation kind of. You get the Attack of Clones kind of feeling from that, and it was just fun that she actually ended up like allying with Jango Fett. I'm wondering about like the impact of what that might have had, because canonically speaking, I don't know if we've ever even knew that Jango Fett actually worked for Jabba. Like, he worked for, obviously the Camino and cloners, and he got his reputation in a couple of the other comics we've seen, but it's like, oh crap, like, she paid him like triple what Jabba would get, and Jabba's not going to be happy now, so what's the fallout going to be there? But from start to finish, it was a really fun action base, but it was a little bit more complex
Mhm.
and it was all done in one shot story. So
Yeah.
I loved it. I like how Jedi Knights as a series is really doing well as a maxi series, where it's given us like, okay, we get the ensemble cast in the first issue. We get the second issue where it's Yoda and the other girl fighting against Aether Prime, guy pulled from Return of the Jedi action figure, fighting against a bunch of things that look like they're from Warhammer 40,000. And
Right.
then we get the issue last month where it's just the big old creatures kaiju with all splash pages. This one's just all scalability. Like every single issue that he's released is working so well because it's working in all these different mediums and in all these different kind of design perspectives. So I absolutely love it. And man, oh man, I love also how we're getting Jango fed so much stuff these days. It's like, it's great to see every couple months like more Jango fed content. Like this is awesome. I could live for this.
We're getting a Django-nessence.
Yeah, something like that.
Django-sense. I don't know. Think of a better name there. Yeah, Marco Gunnar definitely has so much range. Surprised just how much range he has. He's got Chris Rhines from Bro Axiom. Loving Guggenheim's work in Star Wars. And Joel saying nice to see the IBC. Lots of range, and next week, Newt Gunray. It's almost like a third thing. Like, are they the Underworld? Are they the something else? This is a great show about Joel. It knows it's a monthly comic. Yeah, I mean, I do get what you're saying in that they're good standalones. You don't necessarily have to remember what happened. Definitely, fits in. It's wild to think it's by the same artist, same author, same team, but Qui-Gon going around doing his different things. Yeah, again, the range that Marco Guggenheim is showing here in terms of different kinds of stories is pretty stunning. I gotta say, I gotta agree. Yeah,
and it's great because he used to be a writer. I mean, a writer for TV series. I don't know if he still is, but he was one of the show. I think. Don't quote me. I think he was maybe one of the showrunners of the Arrows series. Yeah. So I like every time I read his comics. Yeah, at least a writer. Like the Han Solo and Chewbacca miniseries really felt like it was a TV series that we were reading, and the same with these comics too. Especially the one this week felt like it was a weekly episode of like an episodic episode of like, oh, this is the story of the week. This is what's happening. It's the plot. Like we're gonna go through it at a pretty fast pace and keep things interesting. And I mean, even diving, like you said in the beginning, getting more lore about the international banking clan.
Intergalactic banking clan.
Intergalactic, I don't know. Intergalactic banking clan. Seeing the idea of all this stuff of the Jedi and figuring out what the Republic and what their actual role is with all this, and it really just ties it in.
Yeah, I mean the political nut in me wants to see more of the implications of this, like a senator being investigated for colluding financially and laundering for Jabba the Hutt. I really want to know about that. I want to know what's happening there. I think Mark can write a great story with that. A fun, exciting story, but also one that's politically complicated, intricate. I wonder which Jedi. Probably maybe Yoda. Maybe that's Keller and Beck. Keller and Beck investigating a senator for embezzling with.
I just remember going back to. Did you read The Glass Abyss with Mace Windu?
I haven't read that one yet. I need to read it.
Or if it wasn't there, it was in another story. Or like, I'm pretty sure it was Mace Windu that didn't know who Jabba the Hutt was. I was like, how do you not know? How could you be a Jedi master? I don't know if he might have been a knight at the time. Yeah. But like not know who one of the heads of the Hutt cartel was. So that's one other thing. Is like it's like, how do you not know who this is? So at this point, it's like if he gets more involved, what's going to happen? But override it. I don't know.
Who knows? Do we think Aether Prime will come back? Yeah, I think so. They kind of left it on a bit of a. Or did Yoda just injured him, right? So
Aether Prime?
Yeah.
Oh, he's very much alive. Remember, he had that ship full of all the Termagant looking things, Tyranids.
So they left that on a cliffhanger. So yes, definitely coming back. Aether Prime coming back.
I hope these.
Yeah. No, it's interesting that point about the TV show because I mean, we're still in the era of serial TV, of ongoing TV,
Yeah.
and yet, I mean, episodic TV is making comeback in some things, in some franchises that have star in it that I won't name, like talking about Strange New Worlds, but another place too. I mean, lots of shows are still a bit on that episodic model to have a comic book that feels like this too. Kind of a sign of the times there, as opposed to comics being, like our contemporary linear TV show or a film, like we're going to talk about next week with the film adaptation. But yeah, I mean, it just the way in which we're enjoying it and appreciating it. Maybe this is what it is. It's hard to write such a contained story within one book. We think it's probably easier to plot something out over multiple books, right?
And
like we saw, like we saw with some of the comics that don't end too well. It's because they made him need to plot it more, or like I don't know. Kind of my point being, they plotted it out, but it's harder to have just one fully contained story in one book. And so again, also that range by Mark Guggenheim. So yeah, this is a good point too. Legacy Vader definitely feels like a streaming show. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's good too. All right. Do we have any last thoughts on Jedi Knights number 4?
Not on number 4, but on the series in general. I think that this idea could go on for 50 issues. I think, but the range now not having tied to a certain storyline, you could really just go ahead and just keep pairing up different Jedi.
Yeah.
And just lead into the Phantom Menace almost directly at some point if they want to end it, like really connect it with like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon on that Republic frigate going towards the Trade Federation ship,
I mean,
hopefully it does well.
I mean, that would be an interesting idea, especially given, in issue number 1, Obi-Wan has this vision of Qui-Gon being killed by Maul. Is what he's seeing. He just doesn't know that. So yeah, to see for that to be where it ends, I do wonder is Mark going to run out of genres to write?
Yeah.
So he's but there's only so many genres Star Wars works in. So there's that point too. Speaking of which, friends of the pod, how's it going, Tyler? Welcome. Hopefully we'll get to some of your Dark Horse books soon. Yeah. So that does it for Jedi Knights number 4. Is that all we good? All right. Next week. Speaking of Dark Horse comics, we got Bad Batch Ghost Agents number 4 of 5. Ongoing number 2 and Rise of Skywalker number 5. Mentioned 5 of 5. Ghost Agents number 4 of 5, and then ongoing 2 of who knows how many. Which of these 3 are you looking forward to most?
Oh, definitely Star Wars number 2 because we're gonna deal with the Nagai. I know they haven't been officially name dropped, but like it's in everything else. Like the Nagais, I think Joel Davis clued us in. They are from Legends. They are a Gaunt type of humanoid species that exhibit in the unknown regions. And they gave problems to Luke and all, I think, in the original Marvel comics, which is why they kind of look like they're from a Kiss band. Like they have like that kind of like
the black and gray
makeup and all, so that kind of I'm looking forward to that. I know it's going to be a Luke centric issue just because you see the cover, it's got Luke with the cold weather gear with the green saber, which is just it's always fun seeing Luke with the green saber. We're just so used to seeing him with a yellow one. That's good to see, the green one return.
Yeah. Wonder that's true, yeah. He got it back. Well, he has it back for Return of the Jedi. And he has it through Battle of Jakku. Yeah, but Charles Soule's comic, he has the yellow one. It's true. I'm definitely ongoing. Although, everything with Aura Singh, or not Aura Singh, Asajj Ventress, Ghost Agents, everything she's up to, and the Bad Batch kind of hunting her down. Curious to see, that interaction. Just see she's such a great character in any iteration of her. You got the fleet, the people's fleet. See what that adds. See what
I want to see what cool new things they could put in there that they couldn't at the movie because those characters didn't exist or something, right? Like, I want them to go big. I want to have like 5 pages of close-up shots on different frigates and stuff. Like, oh, there's I don't know, the Punishing One from Dengar, or there's like some new version of the Razor Quest, or I don't know. They wouldn't show that. But, you know, they could get the minor characters in there at least.
Yeah. I mean, we got to give that moment with Ray on the ground and hearing all the voices.
Oh yeah.
Are we gonna see them? We're gonna see their faces.
Oh, we got to see them.
There was that video. Rise of Skywalker came out. Someone on YouTube just kind of had it, but showing the characters say the things. It was really moving, really well done. And so I wonder if the team drawing this, doing this, get inspiration from that. Yeah, it could be good. Could be good. Clearly ongoing number 2. Yeah, I mean that's the flagship. So be good. Go check out your local comic book shop for all 3 of those. They are coming out next week, which means we're basically caught up. Caught up. With some exceptions coming on down the pipe, but yeah, we're on the nose, on schedule again. Here we go. So yeah, check out your local comic book shop for those, and come back next week for the Tractor Beam Comics reviews, where we'll discuss those and whatever else news might happen. Talking about if you get your Switch tonight, we can talk about that as well. But yeah, thanks for joining in line, joining us as you wait for the next 2 hours and 10 minutes or so to get your Nintendo Switch or whatever. Yeah. Where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, they can find me over at twitter.com/StarRaptor for the latest updates and all that. You can also find me on YouTube. That's where majority of the content is posted, youtube.com/StarRaptor. Exciting time for gamers if you're a gamer. We just had the PlayStation showcase earlier today. They revealed a new James Bond game with a new James Bond actor. We have the Summer Game Fest on Friday. Switch launches today/tomorrow. Then Xbox has their own thing on Sunday. So this is basically the old E3 event week, if you guys know about that. It's a big week. But now that's basically here, but in digital form instead of going somewhere. So that's all right. That's all right. I miss it. I want to go one day, but oh well. But anyway, that's it for me here.
Video Game Madness. You can follow my personals. There, GameCube. There you go. Old school. Personals MNEUG1138. That's Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Follow me on Twitter, still on the bird up at NEUG485. Also Instagram, beaches.foodie, FOODIE. I need to post something that reminds me. I got to do that. If you want to bless your feed, mostly ice cream these days, I think is what's happening there. For a bit of walk in the park too. Check that out. And Twitter. Come with the Oilers. Let's go Oilers. Down with the Panthers. Go Oilers. They're down 3-2 right now. That's okay. They'll come back. Yeah, check that out. On the Ion Cannon podcast this past Monday, Joel and I counted down our top 5 most important events in Star Wars canon, in the Star Wars timeline. Really fun, really interesting episode. So check that out. This coming Monday, we're taking a break. And then Monday after that, I'm taking a break, but Joel will be back. That's 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Underworld YouTube channel and Facebook and Twitch. And then, of course, next week, we'll be back to chat all about whatever these books are. Where are they? Here they are. Ongoing number 2, Ghost Ages number 4, and Rise of Skywalker number 5. There we go. Bond with our charter gameplay. There we go. Nice. Anyway, so check that out. Tyler Smith's Ghost Stages number 5. I believe, Tyler, you're probably lettering in that one. So please do come back. Same Minoc time, same Minoc channel. There we go. I can't get DC references in here. Come on. Same Minoc time, same Minoc channel next Wednesday night. But until then, happy reading.